It's called Advanced Answering Techniques. So it is three professional people explaining to other people how to answer different questions, a multiple variety of questions. Advanced Answering Techniques.
Hello and welcome to Advanced Answering Techniques. I'm one of your co-hosts. My name is Josh. Here's another co-host. Don't talk yet. You know who you are. I do want to let people know that this is a podcast in which we make an effort to answer questions that listeners submit. When I say make an effort, what I really mean is to completely answer in totally definitive ways that couldn't be besieged successfully by any known opponent. And one of the other co-hosts' name is Caleb.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Can I just say we give an effort and we get an A for effort.
We get an A for effort.
And the A is answered. It stands for answered.
Yeah. But it is
answered.
also just like top of the heap, fundamental grade A too. It's not just we answered it. It's actually the value 100%. Shut up. One of the other co-hosts is trying to talk, but there's something I want to do first before we get to him, which is, could you do? I wanted to do a subtitle for this episode. I wanted you to do one,
Okay,
and then we'll have the other co-host do one. A subtitle for this episode based around the question. The question, of course, you remember what it was.
yes, I do. I remember.
So go ahead and give us like what do you think a good subtitle would be for this episode of Advanced Answering Techniques?
Let's say a further description of the mind of an insane little flying man.
Okay, and the other one, co-host, is Gabe.
Hi. Sorry. I forgot which one I was supposed to do first.
Yeah.
And my
Hi is great.
As
Put
opposed
that
to
first.
as opposed to by.
my tagline is life hacks.
Subtitle.
The subtitle for the episode today, life hacks.
And Josh.
What's yours?
No, I wanted to ask a different question,
Oh,
Gabe.
okay.
Please don't do that.
Yeah.
What if this episode was a movie? What would the byline be? What would the
When
or
you
the
say
tagline?
byline.
What I mean is tagline, not byline.
Okay. Yeah.
Not
It's not a newspaper article.
yeah. That's why I corrected myself and said tagline. But underneath, there's a poster, big. There's a truck on it. There's a guy on it.
Yeah.
There's a
Is it Duel by Steven Spielberg?
no. This is the
Is
question.
it Maximum
the
Overdrive
movie-
by Stephen King?
Okay, guys. Do you want to hear?
Mm-hmm.
There's a truck on it. There's a guy on it, and an Ewok.
Transformers.
An Ewok?
Oh, and an Ewok.
So it's the holiday special.
I don't know what the movie is. I'm just saying for this question. Look, we're getting kind of wrapped up in this poster, and it's really the tagline that I want from Josh. If this question was a movie, what's the tagline for this? What's on the poster? You can give a couple because usually they have a couple.
Thanks for opening it up so that I have to now come up with a couple. He's all out of, and then we can figure out that. But that's he's all out of. That I think that seems like a good starting point, right?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. That's. I think I'll leave it there.
And then maybe there's another, like, he's all out of, but he just found.
And now,
You know what he's going to do. He's gonna
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boffo box office right there.
Yeah.
Big time. We have a question from a listener, and we've heard from him before. Great fella. We love to get these questions from our listeners. We love to answer them. Let's listen in now.
Hey guys, I have a disorder I call reminder blindness. I diagnosed it myself. It's not a serious thing or anything, but if I have something I need to do weekly, I will put it on my reminders on my phone, and for a while it will remind me to do that thing. But after a while, that reminder becomes too much of a pattern. I get so used to it that I become blind to it. So my question to you guys is, when you have something you have to do weekly and you struggle to remember it, how do you continue to remember it?
Great question from Justin. Reminder blindness. Good to hear at the top. I was, for a second there, I was pretty worried. He said he had a disorder. He said it was reminder blindness. And I felt my whole body tense. And, adrenaline surges. And then he said, it's not serious. And he diagnosed it himself. And I could breathe out a sigh of relief. Did you guys have a similar experience? What happened in your body?
Well, yeah, what happened in my body was I got excited.
You had him having a disorder?
Yes.
Yeah. You were...
Why?
Well, because if you've ever watched X-Men or anything like that, these things can become powers.
I've never watched X-Men, but I have watched things like X-Men
Like Transformers,
or superhero.
superhero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've seen probably Superhero 1, 2...
They're good through probably superhero 4, but
Yeah.
after that there's a precipitous drop.
Well, everyone got so bored of superhero
Yeah.
that then they were like, actually, regular people are heroes now, and then it just became a series. Superhero 9 was about a nurse,
Yeah.
Right. And then superhero 12, grocery store worker.
right?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Give me a break.
What are we doing now? These people are just doing regular stuff as a hero,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
But you were saying that you were excited by Justin's revelation of his diagnosis.
Yeah, because he already has a superpower, the superpower of flight. And so maybe this means something else.
And the superpower of being a liar, always lying.
Yes.
Right. And so we don't know what's next. So I got excited, but then when he says it's self-diagnosed, it's not serious, which also seemed to me that anything that is self-diagnosed is not serious.
You think so?
That's what it seemed like he was getting at.
Like,
So you're
It's self-diagnosed, so it's not serious. It's just a kind of a joke.
in the immediate aftermath of a car accident, you look down, you see a compound fracture in your leg, and you're gonna say, seems like there's something wrong here. Must not be serious though, because I'm not a doctor.
you're running that little program where you go, hold on, did I just self-diagnose? Because I know what that means.
Right. I mean, that's kind of the trick, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's things on that spectrum where, that can get out of hand. Where then you're self-diagnosing with, I've self-diagnosed as genius before. Mm-hmm. No one seems to agree.
It was a bit.
What do you mean?
It's not serious.
Yes.
It's a bit.
It's a bit.
That's where it gets confusing, though. Because once you self-diagnose as genius, you go, okay, wait, how do I get out of this?
Yeah.
If I admit that I was wrong.
I thought that I think when that happened, I thought you self-diagnosed as jeans.
The pants?
I mean that I found the whole thing confusing.
Jeans the pants. And
That's
not jeans the DNA.
You thought I diagnosed
information.
myself as jeans the pants?
Yeah. If we ever do an episode about jeans, I think the pants should be the subtitle.
It's a good subtitle.
Yeah, that's true. It's a
Just
good point.
so there's no confusion. They don't know that then they'll know that we're not talking about like Jean Grey or
Right.
Another Jean.
And the not
yeah.
the byline, but the tagline. I can't get away from this. The tagline will be, "You'll never know where they fit and where they don't."
Can I share how the question hit me? He said reminder blindness, and I just immediately was distracted for the next 15 or 20 seconds trying to come up with a way of making a very clunky portmanteau out of those two. And I couldn't come up with a good one. So
Yeah.
Okay, that's
that's
a great contribution, Gabe.
it was confusing. It was confusing.
Yeah,
it was unsettling.
reblinder doesn't really work.
Reblinderness.
I mean, partially for me is reminder blindness makes me think of like, well, that's completely useless because people who are blind need no reminder. It's kind of always
Yeah.
You
It
don't
would-
forget that you're blind.
It would be like momentarily regaining your ability to see, and then you'd be like, "Oh, right, I'm blind," because it goes away immediately.
Right.
There
I
you go.
wonder if that's the thing, right? People who have never seen with their eyes, they don't even have a basic structure to conceive sight as. Whereas people who had sight and now are blind, they have maybe they can lapse back into feeling sighted.
They're in a blind support group, and they say,
Like phantom sight.
I relapsed today."
Right. Well, like people have a limb that's cut off and they can feel phantom pain in
Yeah.
it. And you're like phantom sight, and then it gets confused though, and then what is it? Haley Joel Osment, Jr., Senior, Haley Joel Osment. He comes to the phantom sight support group.
Why?
Because he sees blind people. I don't know where.
Phantoms. He sees dead people.
Oh, okay. Phantom sight. Okay. I mean, that's the sort of thing that we can leave in the podcast. You
Hey,
know what I
guys,
mean?
Yeah, it's not profane or obscene in any way. So technically, it can stay.
It can stay.
I don't really understand what you guys are talking about. This is kind of important to the podcast that we talk about all the different ways these things could go.
At a certain point, though, I do think that we owe something to the listener. And do they deserve to be unnecessarily, unwarrantedly infuriated?
I can't see how this would infuriate. I'm just trying to speak to the kinds of people who listen to the podcast that are like me and got sort of confused at that point. Give the listeners a voice.
Yeah.
And look, that might be 1% of the listenership,
Yeah.
but they deserve a say.
I mean, I'm trying to think of...
That would be like, I think 1% of the listenership would be like somebody's foot.
I'm not above speaking up for someone's foot. Someone's foot's thought.
Yeah, you've always been sort of the voice for the foots that cannot speak. I have a couple things that I do on a weekly basis, so I know a little bit about kind of where Justin's coming from. Most of us have sort of things that come up on a rotating schedule, just every week. It's sort of on a weekly basis.
I don't
Like doing.
I don't
like
know if I know what you mean, Josh.
You mean day after day?
After a gap of 6 or 7 days, you find
Which
yourself
is it?
in the same spot once more. And one of them is this podcast. That's really easy. I look forward to it. It's a highlight of my week. So that doesn't require me to remember it in any.
I'd say the same for me.
One of the principles I would take from that is, what are all these things that you're doing, Justin, that you can't remember? Like, why you have to do them, but you don't look forward to them? You don't. Why don't you do things that you will just remember because you love doing them? That's one idea that I would
Cut those
put
things
forward.
out of your life. if you have to be reminded to the point that you you lose any actual connection to what is happening here, just cut it out of your life.
Cut it out of your life. Do fun things that you like.
Actually, my suggestion actually ties into this because we know Justin pretty well at this point. We know that he's a gifted artist.
Yes.
And I, first of all, I do think that I should put a couple of disclaimers here. In order to implement this system, you do have to be fine communing with potentially demonic beings. It depends on what your view of certain technologies is. And you also have to be able to invest quite a lot of time in developing this particular mobile software. And it's going to take, I think, money. I think all of those things will require money. So basically, my idea is create an AI framework. That's where the demons come in. And you plug these reminders in to this AI to generate paint by numbers images that then come up on your phone with enough time to act as a reminder of the task that you have you want to be reminded of, and you get to do a little activity and color in all of the spots, the paint by numbers. Did I say paint by colors earlier?
You said paint by numbers.
Good. Okay.
But
yeah.
I do think you should paint by colors.
Paint with colors by numbers.
Okay, yeah.
For numbers for yourself, I guess. But you, basically you would.
Could you repeat that again? What did you say?
Paint with colors by numbers for yourself.
And 4 is a number there, or
again, we'll leave it in.
But where I was headed with this is basically, I need to remember to pick my daughter up from school at 11:30, so around 10:15 or so, bing bing. Maybe there's also an audible reminder sound notification thing, something that you can hear.
could you say that again? What it sound like to you? Or?
It was like bing bing or something. Similar to that. Yeah. I don't know, like as similar as Superhero is to X-Men, something like that. Basically, this thing comes up on your phone. You have the opportunity to then go paint the picture in by colors or with colors by numbers and for yourself, and you get this picture that reminds you my daughter's waiting for me for me to pick her up at her school, and then you get in your car, turn it on, drive to the place and pick her up.
If you're forgetting, you will be first of all, that's
with a 4 too, Josh, or
forgetting. If you're forgetting, it'll pop up and you'll be so interested to find out what the picture is.
Yes. That
you will complete it, and then you will and then you'll know what it is. And even if you before you complete the picture, you that'll still be jogging your memory.
Sure.
You'll still remember.
So
this seems useful.
This picture is like printed out and then you have to paint it, or it's a pixel art?
It depends on how much you want to invest. If you want to be, then you might have to set up a reminder to buy more paper on a monthly basis or what have you. Maybe you don't want to create that. Maybe you find this so rewarding to work with the real materials and feel the texture of the, maybe that's going to maybe that's going to get you doing what you want to be doing in it. And also, this was tailored specifically to Justin. I think there might be more puzzle-minded people. Maybe you task this, this demonic being we call artificial intelligence to create a series of puzzles for you to figure out in order to unlock the reminder. Right. But something that's going to, kind of like what Josh was saying, something that's going to appeal to you, draw you in, and really engage you for maybe a few minutes. And really,
unlike picking up your daughter, the prospect of picking up your daughter.
Well, I don't know what your relationship with your daughter's like. Right. I don't know.
Some people might find that their relationship with their daughter is not particularly engaging.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I tried to really make that word sound like what it is, what it means.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I tried to say it in an engaging way.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I saw a video about that. So
How are you supposed to say words the way that they onomatopoeia words?
if
Something like-
anywhere and everywhere that you can.
So, okay, so this basically, can I just reiterate back to you some of what you're saying? So you go,
I'll allow
You go-
some of it.
bing, bing, splish, splosh, splish, splosh. Oh, yeah. Vrum, vrum. Hi.
That's good. So you employed the method that I was employing to describe my answer, my suggestion.
Yeah.
to me.
Well, I thought that was just a good way to describe it.
And the splish splosh was watercolor. You're doing watercolors.
Yeah. It's just paint. That's what I could think of. Splish, splosh, splish, splash.
I think paint more of like a like thick.
Well, yeah, but if it's
Unless it is
watercolor,
watercolor, it's
That's what I'm saying, though.
yeah. But he said,
You're trying to come in with acrylics.
but Josh
and
said,
Josh said watercolor.
but Josh said watercolor, and you said or just paint. So
Yeah, you can water down any paint.
you can. That is true. Good point.
I'm just saying this paint in this situation is splish splosh. Have you ever okay? It's not. So you're saying it would be like gloop glop?
It'd be
Okay,
like,
fine.
Yeah.
Bing bing gloop glop. No, sorry. Bing bing. Gloop glop. Gloop glop. Oh yeah. Vroom vroom. Hi.
That's
Fine. I'll
yeah.
change. We can change it.
And I did like thinking of people who are puzzle minded.
puzzle minded.
The
The puzzle minded among us,
Yes.
whatever percentage. I don't know. Maybe it's just somebody's freaking elbow in our listeners that
Yeah.
are puzzle minded, but you know,
But we're going to speak up for them.
What was the question?
The question is, when you have something to do weekly and you struggle to remember, how do you remember it? And this is something that my wife has particular trouble with. It's like, I'm like, set a timer, and then you'll remember to do X. And she goes, but I have to remember to set the timer, right? It's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a real problem.
Yeah, I set
In our day
I
and
set
age.
like weekly timers. I don't do the reminder thing. I just do timers.
remind me in
So
100
yeah,
hours.
148 hours.
Remind me in 127 hours to watch 127 hours.
Right. Don't remind me.
Yeah.
So set a timer. When this timer goes off, that's been the time elapsed from now until when I want to do the thing. Yeah, it's not a reminder. If you're having trouble with reminders, try timers.
Remind me in 126 hours to start sawing my arm off.
Yeah, remind me in 48 hours that I only have 24 hours to finish The Sixth Sense. Try to watch that before 3 days are up.
Is that the
But
rent?
I don't want to watch it within 2 days from
Is that the rental period or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to get it. It's supposed to be at Redbox in 2 days, and then I can go rent it, but I got to return it in 1 day. So that's the situation.
One of the other things I have to do on a weekly basis, I don't know how much we've talked about this. We are all three brothers, but there are a lot of additional brothers.
Oh yeah.
I'm not generally completely sure how many there are. It's a lot, and time goes on. Some are dying off, so the number at any given moment it's a moving target.
It's a range.
It's a range.
It's a range. We haven't had any added in a while.
But there's a lot. But there's quite a few.
Yep.
Anyway, one of the brothers was born with, I don't know. Do you think it's fair to say some irregularities?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, multiple of them have some irregularities.
Yes.
Yeah, but
This
there's one that kind of got a lot.
There's a lot of them. Long story short, kind of the best possible situation for him is he lives in the crawl space under my house. So on a weekly basis, I have to do the maintenance to keep things going. Change out his bedding. I'm refilling his store of clean water and dried meat. He's supplementing his diet with he's sort of farming frogs down. Like, it's a wet environment.
Yeah.
It stays warm.
It's good to have a hobby no matter where
Exactly.
you are.
So but that means, I've got to move the frog bones out. But so these are just basic chores. I do it on a weekly basis.
Now, have you decided you need the frog bones out, or is he asking for the frog bones to not be there?
Yeah. Well, I don't. I've kind of, as the oldest brother, I've kind of taken on myself that this, so we don't talk about this kind of stuff a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel, sometimes it's hard to interpret exactly what the intention is.
Yeah, with the frog bones.
With the frog bones, but I do it. It seems, I think it's for the best.
Yeah.
I'm kind of making that call, and he doesn't put up a huge fight to that. It just keeps things a little neater.
It's interesting because in so many ways he's removed from our society.
Yeah.
But he's really close to he it sounds like he's killing what he eats.
Right. He's
which makes
he's
him
living close to
closer
the land.
To the land.
Yes.
Yeah. Very close to the land, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something beautiful about it.
Yeah. And it's cool to have a part in facilitating that beauty.
And you really see that perception, his perceptual change, because he thinks about things very different.
Way. In whatever ways we can kind of understand that there is a mind processing
Yes.
the world and forming thoughts. Yes, it does seem to be very different.
Yeah.
He's different-minded.
He's different.
Oh, yeah. One, this is the kind of guy that I guess I speak up for. A man who has the thoughts of a foot.
But when we're talking about memory, I would never forget to do this ever. This is high priority for me. He's my brother. That's a huge part of it. But there are other reasons. If you forget to do this, Gregory will act out.
Yeah. Well,
And you pay a very high price at that point.
and I know that because you went on vacation.
Yeah.
And I had to come over and take care of things.
Right.
And there's a lot that I can just see that is prompt me, I need to do that.
Right.
Dog's water bowl's empty, got to fill that up.
Yeah.
Cat's water bowl is empty, you got to fill that up.
Right. Easy.
But
it's up on the surface.
up on the
Easy.
surface, but going down below, it's kind of cold today, or I just, I don't notice it. And so I didn't notice, and I didn't clear out the frog bones.
Yeah.
As much as I was supposed to.
Right.
I got a few of them. I ran down. At one point, I ran down and grabbed a handful of frog bones and ran out.
He hates
But
that.
that was the best I could do. And it just wasn't enough throughout the time of your... So
But he hates that. He doesn't want you to do that. He wants to be respectful about it. So
Well, and you
he cares about the frogs. He eats them, but he takes good care of them.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty disrespectful.
Right.
So
very well managed frogs.
He's proud when there's an especially strong specimen.
yeah. It's like a 4-H kid with the pig. Like they like the pig, they know it's going to get slaughtered, but they're still proud of how big and fat this huge freaking
Josh.
pig is.
Josh, I guess you didn't tell Gabe about the time that Gregory prepared a frog for 4-H.
No. I mean, that's only the people who really needed to know about that. So that was you and me.
Right. Well, we made up a fake 4-H.
Yeah.
Josh and I did a fake county fair that Gregory could bring his frog to.
And just to be clear, that's the number 4.
4-H? Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if you were saying that you came up with a fake something.
4-H. As in a man named H, or
Henry,
a secret agent or something.
Or, if a sister whose name starts with an H.
Yeah.
No, this is 4-H. I think it stands for For Humanity. But
How does he act out?
Do you want me to finish the story?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
about
do.
the fair?
I want you to talk about it.
So we get there to the fair. I mean, we get there meaning like Josh and I set up this whole fair,
Right.
and then we take Gregory. We had thought about letting him win because he's so into it, but we thought that would be maybe too much, and then he wouldn't have anything to strive for anymore. And so we did. We hired a little boy to have a frog that it was. I mean, there was no second guessing that this frog was the best frog.
It's a blue ribbon frog.
Yes. It was so slimy.
Mm-hmm.
Its tongue was so big.
And that was one thing where I did feel like we kind of undermined Gregory a little bit by making kind of that most heavily weighted category slimiest.
But he wasn't aware. You didn't make him aware that was going to be.
Yeah. His frogs are just not that slimy.
I mean, they're slimy enough.
They're slimy enough to be healthy frogs.
Right.
But you want to, there's a kind of frog that you want that it's going to have a particular sheen to it that his frogs just don't have. They're healthy. They're not like chapped frogs.
Right.
But they don't have this kind of sleek, like, okay, let's compare,
I don't think I want to.
Toyota Camry to a Lamborghini.
Right.
They have a similar sheen, but there's just something about the sheen of a real high-end sports car that is alluring.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we wanted to do with these frogs is, make them alluring.
Yeah. So anyway,
Sorry.
Gregory.
It's good to have context.
Yeah, he lost, and that was a disaster. I mean, these things have to be controlled pretty carefully because he doesn't wear clothes. There's just details about him, his physical makeup, that would make that impossible.
Right.
No matter how much you might want him to.
to be wearing clothes. It's
Yeah.
just not going to happen. I don't know what, like envisioning a garment
Yeah.
is beyond me and all of us.
It's sort of like quantum.
Right. Yeah.
Like a tesseract. Like, how would
Right.
you build a shirt for a tesseract?
That's exactly what it is. But in any of these situations,
Or I guess a box, because a box is sort of a box clothing.
the point is no dog is safe if Gregory gets out. If he hasn't been fed,
Right.
that's going to be that's going to be a problem. Like, what I was thinking about this recently with sort of all the Haitian stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think for us to that wasn't that big of a deal to us.
No.
We're like it's within kind
Right.
of a realm of something that we've.
A good example is like we have one of our sisters has a pretty irregular name. It's not a very normal name,
Right.
But to me, because
Yeah.
she's older than I am, it's like, oh, everybody has a sister with this is a normal sister name.
A sister could have
And
this,
And so
yeah.
when we read about humans eating cats and dogs,
Yeah.
we're like, yeah, everybody's got some freaking brother
Yeah.
in a crawl space that
Yeah.
does this.
that may do that. So
I will say it's a little different for me because I remember the first time Gregory caught his first dog.
yeah.
Yeah, so you're a little older than me. I don't remember that.
Yeah. Anyway, that I might as well do my poem sort of in conjunction with that thought.
I think this has led perfectly up to this.
So here it is. The Haitians, one of those nations, licking their choppies for kitties and puppies. I don't approve their hunting and looking, but at least they're engaged in barbecue cooking.
That's great. And you know what? It was something else. It was really
And I'm sorry, that
powerful.
should have been engaged.
Yeah, there
Right.
you go. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Is there some way that you can tie Gregory into the poem? and talk about his his taste
do-
for froggies and doggies or something.
Right.
Well,
That could
I
be
think that's
good
it right
game, but we've learned they don't want to tie Gregory to anything.
That's true.
He has a way with ropes.
Right.
They do what he says.
Yeah.
I mean, like you say, like we're trying to fit clothing.
Yeah,
on him,
and
much
also
less-
like, what exactly are you going to tie a rope to?
Right.
That's part of the
It's
problem.
ever changing. His head's over here. Oh nope, now it's over there.
So so to me, that's kind of where I would leave it with Justin's question. Ultimately, is
I want to clarify that. I didn't
Yeah.
think we should tie a rope to Greg's head.
no.
That's what came to mind.
No, yeah, we
Honestly,
we wouldn't do it. We shouldn't do it.
honestly, now that I think of it though, we should tie it to his hook.
If you can find it.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems mood dependent.
Well, and I haven't been able to ever confirm this, but there's something astrological
Yes.
that
Yes.
might be
Yeah.
playing a role.
It's like-
not sure.
That
Is-
would actually be a really good project for us.
Yes.
Yeah. Is Mercury in retrograde?
Right. Aligning this like is that when the hook comes out?
Yeah.
That's when the hook comes out.
If we could
Okay.
find any way
right.
of just getting some kind of cause and an effect
Right.
for the appearance of the hook.
Yeah. And just to get ahead of it, I know a lot of listeners out there are going to write in with the suggestion. We have tried the chant from Hook 1990.
Yeah.
Which is give us the hook, 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 give us the hook, hook,
Right,
hook,
right.
give us the hook. We've tried that. He's watched the movie. He knows. We've tried to kind of set, Captain James Hook up as sort of a warning to Gregor if he doesn't get a handle on some of this behavior. He could end up being eaten by crocodile,
Yeah.
dead crocodile that eats him
Eats him up.
in the.
It is hard to get a handle when
So-
you have one hand that is a hook though.
You got to stop with
Huh?
this
What?
whatever this strategy is to rile my feathers up, ruffle my beans.
Gabe, I'm trying to
is that-
ruffle your beans. I'm not. Look, I'm just having thoughts and saying words.
Foot thoughts.
I don't want to give you choppy. Well, I can't think of it. I mean, my beans are riled.
If you can't think of it, I'm probably not in danger of receiving it from you.
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
Okay.
Gabe, did you have a poem that you
I
needed
don't
to
have a
get
poem. Nope.
Oh, interesting.
I decided to take a break to really think and to focus on not doing a poem, and then maybe that I'll sort of pierce through that plane,
Yeah.
and on the other side, I'll realize what that it actually has been a poem
Yes.
that
But
I made.
So in a lot of ways, I think that is what just happened.
Yeah. If you didn't realize, I did do a poem earlier.
That
But
was the
snuck
kind
it
of
in.
onomatopoeia
Snuck my poem in
Yes.
earlier.
description. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm sorry, Gabe. I'm not trying to get your feathers up.
Don't rile up my feathers. I love doing this podcast.
It's the best.
I have two conditions.
Well, I thought
For
you
my
had, I thought you had
participation.
two, oh, okay. I thought you had four conditions.
Stop doing this, please. My two conditions for for participating in the podcast: do not rile up my feathers, and please do not ruffle up my beans.
Thanks so much for listening. This has been Advanced Answering Techniques. You can have us treat your questions this way if you'll only send us an audio file of some type to advancedansweringtechniques@gmail.com. We thank you so much, Justin, for sending in a question. I'm sure that you found our answer helpful. And next time you're trying to remember whatever it is on a weekly basis, I'm sure you'll keep these techniques in mind.
Yeah, if the reminders don't work, try timer.
Yeah. Or just try cutting out everything that doesn't have some kind of vicious consequence or isn't incredibly fun.
Yeah, and I'm actually just going to rescind my suggestion. Don't do it. I think AI is dangerous. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
I take it back.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.